Hi everyone, Mr. Binder here. The topic that we're going to be discussing today is biological reactions. Now, these are very important for cellular function, and there's four reactions that we're going to be talking about: dehydration, hydrolysis, neutralization, and redox reactions. Again, all are very important for a cell to properly function. First one we're going to talk about is dehydration, synthesis, or as you might also hear, condensation reactions. The reason why they're called condensation reactions is as a result of the products forming, water will be one of the products. Again, dehydration synthesis reactions are anabolic reactions. That means that smaller molecules will come together to form the larger molecules. The example here, we have two amino acids coming together to form a dipeptide as a product. And again, it's called condensation reactions because of the water that will be forming as a result of the product here. This is the most common reaction used by cells. Cells use dehydration synthesis reactions, again an anabolic reaction, to build your macromolecules like carbs and proteins. The exact opposite reaction to dehydration synthesis reaction is called a hydrolysis reaction. Hydrolysis reactions are breaking larger molecules down into smaller molecules. And again, the molecule that's going to be used to break the bonds apart is a water molecule. Again, hydro meaning water, lysis meaning break apart. So water will be used to break apart the bond here that we see in this dipeptide molecule, and as a result, the products are smaller molecules, better known as amino acids. So again, hydrolysis reactions, breaking apart larger molecules into smaller molecules. A catabolic reaction, water is used to break apart the larger molecules. And again, our cells use this reaction to break apart large macromolecules. For instance, glycogen. If we're low on blood glucose levels, our body will start to break apart glycogen in order for our cells to use the glucose molecules to make ATP. Neutralization reactions. This is an acid-base reaction. We have an acid forming or reacting with a base here. So this is the base, magnesium hydroxide, forming with hydrochloric acid, and the result is a salt, magnesium chloride, and water. Again, this reaction here is more related to how our stomach works. If we have some sort of acid reflux, we take antacids or anything that has magnesium hydroxide in it, like milk of magnesia. Again, this will help neutralize the acidity in our stomach. Oxidation reduction reactions, better known as redox reactions. What's happening here is electrons are going to get transferred from one reactant or substrate to the next. And the reason why they're called redox reactions, there's two reactions going on here: an oxidation reaction, so a loss of electrons, and a reduction reaction, which is a gain of electrons. And you can remember this by remembering the name oil rig. Oil rig. Oxidation is loss of electrons, reduction is gain of electrons. Again, the electrons that are being transferred here, this is a transfer of energy from one molecule to the next. This is going to be very important when we do discuss cellular respiration. Now, taking a look here, A has the electrons. A is going to, or substrate A. Substrate A is going to give those electrons to substrate B. Now, because A lost the electrons, it has become oxidized. B is accepting the electrons from substrate A. So B is gaining electrons. Because it's gained electrons, it is now reduced. Being able to identify redox reactions, there's some points here, some pointers to take a look at when we do identify these reactions. If it is an oxidation reaction, one of three things can happen. Oxygen atoms are gained in the products, hydrogen atoms are lost in the products, or simply put, electrons are lost. And if you saw a half reaction of an oxidation reaction, you would actually see electrons in the products. Now, taking a look at the example here, we have a loss of hydrogen from reactant to product. That gives us our oxidation reaction. And on the other side, we see reduction reactions gaining hydrogen. So that would be your example of a reduction reaction. Again, the 3 pointers for identifying reduction reactions: oxygen atoms are lost in the product, hydrogen atoms are gained in the product, or electrons are gained in the product. And if you took a look at a half reaction of a reduction reaction, you would see that electrons would be in the reactant side of the reaction. So again, we take a look here. Zinc, as a reactant, is going to gain an oxygen in the products. That is an example of your oxidation reaction. Lead loses an oxygen as a result of this reaction. So losing an oxygen gives us the reduction reaction. Now this is going to be very important, again, when we do discuss cellular respiration and the transfer of electrons from substrate to substrate. Being able to identify, and again, taking a look at this reaction here, this reaction is cellular respiration. This is chapter 4. Now we've got glucose, we've got oxygen. As a result of those combining together, we see in the products carbon dioxide and water forming, as well as energy. Now, taking a look, loss of hydrogen atoms and gain of hydrogen atoms, which one of these is your reduction reaction and which one is your oxidation reaction? Well, we see a loss of hydrogen atoms here is a result of oxidation reactions, and we see that here with glucose. And you might have already known this, but glucose, as a result of being oxidized, results in a transfer of free energy, but a cell to actually make energy. Oxygen here will gain hydrogen atoms, forming water in the products. As a result of these hydrogen atoms being gained, this is your reduction reaction. One more thing, oxidizing and reducing agents. Now, we just talked about molecules or compounds that are accepting electrons are being reduced, and then we talked about molecules that are losing electrons being oxidized. Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with identifying oxidizing and reducing agents. Taking a look here, whichever reactant is going to be losing electrons, meaning that it will be oxidized as the product, is the reducing agent. So an oxidized product as a result of a chemical reaction is the reducing agent. It is the one responsible for giving up electrons to another compound. And again, the reduced product, or the molecule in the products that has been reduced, acts as the oxidizing agent in the reactants. And again, the oxidizing agent is responsible for taking the electrons from another substrate. So the example here, we see that copper will gain electrons. So copper is reduced. Because copper is reduced in the products, it acts as the oxidizing agent. It will take electrons from zinc. Zinc here is considered to be the reducing agent because it loses electrons, becomes oxidized in the products. So zinc reduces copper. Take a look at the slides. Please review them. These terms will be important on the test. You will need to identify a couple of these reactions.